We're going to hold up. 3, 2, 1. And all right. Whew, all right. We done have some vittles. Okay. We're going to sit up here. We're going to try to get this thing together because y'all know how we get the idols going to sit in. And this part of the conversation, we're going to come through. And we are going to, let's come up with some solutions, you know? The last two topics, were, you know, they were kind of high. We're looking at what black male leadership looks like. We're looking at defining toxic masculinity, which we really didn't define per se. However,
we dispelled the myth. I think it was more like dispelling a myth.
We were myth busting. Yeah, I like that. We were myth busting. And so now we want to take the next part of this because we know what the negative stereotypes are. We know what the narrative is about us as black men. I'm going to stand up because if I keep rocking, honey, I'm going to end up, Okay. You understand? But we know what all that is. And we experience this on a daily continuum as black men in this country. Daily, you know, in all our walks of life. We can't even go to the grocery store or to get our medicines or whatever the case may be without being bombarded with the stereotypes. So the question is, what is it that we need to do? What are some of the things that we can do to overcome, to bust them, to get rid of, can we ever get rid of it? The stereotypes of what it is to be a black man in this country. Okay, come on, Pops.
Until we stop being scared of who we are. A lot of time people are so scared, and that's one of the reasons. I think that's it. You know, until we start standing up in ourselves and really understand that it's in us, you know, not out there, then things will start changing.
You said we got to stop being scared. How do we stop being scared of understanding who we are and not being afraid to be who we are when we as men we challenge one another because we're not the type of man that, in my eyes, I think you should be, or what we as black men said that the black man is supposed to be. If I'm not that, then when I present myself to the world, I'm hiding, I'm cowering. We got a whole DL culture. You know, it's more than just saying, it's more than just a sexual DL. The DL has become a whole culture to where now I'm gonna sneak around and do this, I'm gonna do this because I can't be who I am. So how do we stop being afraid and stand up to be who we are?
Now that of course, we're having a discussion, so I don't know, but I just want to add this input that I believe, I'm a 70s baby, but I know just from the history, in the 60s, we all used to know who the enemy was. Like, there was no question, whatever it was that was going on outside against us, we knew whether we agreed or not, okay, look, but we got to come together with this one common. So I think, excuse me, the better question is, how do we remember, or how do we all recognize who the enemy is again? So then we can come back like, okay, now that we are together, brothers and sisters and whatnot, whether we agree or not, but we can come together, then I think we can better attack, okay, this is what we are against. No matter what you believe, your religion, your sex, whatever. We need to get back to what it was in the 60s. It was all, hey, we understood what it is and this is what we got to do, show enough. You know, now it's like, it's so divisive, it's just like, so if we could get back to that, I think that would severely help us.
I like that. I really like that. I like that. Panel, come on, Bob.
I really think until we start loving us, we mean, how can I love you when I don't love myself? That's the kind, you know, that's what I'm saying, you know. We have to start loving, when we feel that love in our heart, then we can extend it to others. And don't be afraid. You see, a lot of time, you know, we dodge behind some stupidity. I don't understand. I never find a person with your gear not that I don't like. You know, I consider myself as a businessman. I welcome everybody. And I have a lot of friends who were gay. I remember days when I used to travel, I used to have some Spanish guys, some guys from Spain. These are the gayest people. But they were such a loving group of people. You know, we go out together and we get into broil, all of us fight. You know, we fight. We protect each other, man. You know, I remember I was down in Venezuela one time, and we was in a bar, and we was spending overnight there, and something went off, and all them gay guys, all of us, they're speaking Spanish. I didn't know Spanish, but we know, you know, we were fighting like, you know, to get back to the ship. That's so, you know, we you know, yeah, we you know, we sailors. We go, we drink too much, and we start fighting.
Duke, what you got? What you got, Ray?
Hey, I can agree with you on that one. Because I done drank and spanked a lot of nights.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, that goes back to accountability.
Right.
And you got to remember, like you're saying, self-love is above all. Because I mean, once we have to learn to embrace each other. You don't stop and look at your brother and look him up and down. Look him in the eye and shake his hand. See what you all both have that one another needs. You got to remember, we got to start being more proactive instead of reactive in our communities.
Right.
And to me, when I change my mindset, and this gentleman knows me longer than anybody in the room, he know I'm not the guy I used to be. I'm another man, but I'm a man. I built myself off of circumstances and taking accountability for things I've done in my past, learning from myself, learning that wasn't me. And when I looked inside of me and started to be by myself and be true to myself, I was able to reiterate that and give that love back to my community, my people around me.
Okay.
No matter who you are and where you come from.
Okay, let me interject here. When we say accountability, because you know that's a political term now. Accountability and transparency, right? That's a political term now. But when we say accountability, what do we mean? When you going inside and really dealing with your own ish, okay, are you man enough to say this is who I am? You're good, you're bad, you're ugly, your flaws. So I teach this to my kids and to those who I mentor, and that there is my flaws and your flaws got to be compatible if you're going to be in my circle. And what I mean by flaws being compatible is I have to make sure that what you do that may be your little quirk or whatever, it's got to agree with me. It's not going to send me off the handle to where I can't have you around me because it's a part of who you are. If I love you like I say I do, or that comes out of my mouth, then my actions need to be, I love you for everything that you stand for. I should be able to walk beside you. I should never have to walk behind you unless we walking back to back and I got your back and you leading the way, or you back to back with me to make sure that we got each other's back like that. You know what I'm saying? We should be able to walk side by side, and I, as a brother, should be able to affirm everything about you. Okay, everything.
I'm gonna say the one word that I think we need to also learn is tolerance.
Ooh.
But with that word, we also need to know how to set boundaries.
There we go.
We can have differences of opinion, but being open-minded and having tolerance and saying, okay, because this person feels that way doesn't mean that they're wrong and I'm right, and vice versa. But also setting boundaries to say, okay, I can get to this point, but I'm not passing this point. Having the strong will and the discipline to understand that this is who, you know, this is where I'm going to stop. Like, for instance, me, I don't smoke, I don't drink. I haven't done that in years. It's because of the will and the discipline of saying, I'm not going to do this.
Exactly.
I've set that boundary. Now, if I step outside of that, then I have to start asking myself, what am I doing that for? Am I doing it for somebody? Am I doing it for somebody else? And the tolerance of also knowing if being open-minded to somebody saying, hey, why don't you try this? You know, if it's not something that I'm not going to do, should be open-minded to it. Why not try? I'm not talking about drugs. I'm just saying in general,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And I think as black men, it's hard for us to have that tolerance because nobody gives it to us. In a sense.
Can I change that word? Let's change the word from tolerance to respect.
Yeah, respect.
To respect. Okay, and the reason why I want to change that word because the tolerance usually mean that I'm just putting up with you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm putting up with it because whatever. I'm here. Well, okay, fine, whatever. It has that throwaway feel. Okay, but if I respect you, okay, if I respect you, that means that I am making a conscious choice to understand that you are the man who you say you are, that you presented yourself to be. I'm not going to do anything within my conscious mind to upset you, to go against anything that you stand for. I'm a gay man. I'm not going to hit on you if you're heterosexual. You know what I'm saying? And disrespect everything that you stand for because I respect you. And if I tolerated you, see, all that goes out the way because all the wind got to do is blow. And if I change my mind, then it becomes an issue. You know what I mean? So we as black men have got to get to a point where we generally respect each other, and it ain't that street respect.
No, just respect.
You know what that street respect is because I'm on my game. You know, you gonna respect me. You gonna respect me, and you're gonna beat your chest all up. You know, and carry it on, and it's nothing but a bunch of noise. You know, but genuinely, if I make the conscious choice to say, "Hey, I respect you as a man," and in accountability. Respect has to be given in accountability because I respect you enough to know that you are out of character. I'm coming to pull your coattail and be like, yo, player, what's happening? This ain't you, you know? But how is it that we get to that point? Come on, Dr. Tishuzo.
Of course, I want to get something to you. When I speak today, I want to get something to you that you can utilize. The scientist that taught me what I am sharing, he was able to get it over to me. And when he got it over to me, I was able to do something with it. And so what I'm talking about love. I'm talking on a deeper level about, it was mentioned respect, but I'm talking about reverence, love and reverence. And the reason I use I is because I know what I know. And so I know how to urinate. I can prove that.
Right.
So I know that. That's what I mean, no. I know what I know, and I know what I don't know. Okay, so I realized that I didn't know what love is to me. Even when I was preaching in the church, I really didn't know what love was because I read all that stuff in the Bible. I saw all that stuff on TV, and with my brothers and I, what we did on the street with the girls, all that I was calling love. Of course, in order to solve my problem, because I didn't feel love. My mother had died. 2 wives had divorced me, threw me aside because of my own stupidness. But anyway, again, I did not give up. So I'm getting this message over here. I didn't give up. I looked for something because I knew I was on my way to fail again. And so we're talking about love, respect, and reverence. So anyway, all of that, I had to be able to see it for myself, what it is. And I was taught, hey, you got to have that for yourself, or you can't expect nobody to give you that if you don't have it for yourself. And you can't give something you don't have for yourself. Okay, so I knew I had some problems, okay? I admitted that I was failing in my relationship with women. I admitted that I didn't love myself enough. I admitted that I was ignorant. It was a lot of stuff I didn't get. And then when they sent me to school, I called myself trying to pass all the courses. And then I came away thinking I'm better than somebody else. Okay. I didn't know all of that for 50 plus years. I did not know how ignorant and how much I was sabotaging. I already told you he opened my eyes to see, hey, you're the problem to poverty, crime, and ethnic hatred. You're the problem. Stop looking outside yourself. You're the problem. Okay. Okay. I got that. And once I got that, I cried, I begged him, give me the solution, because what happened to me, I saw the truth about what had happened to me. I was a slave. I was doing what they taught me to do. My mother didn't know. She wanted to keep me safe. So do what they say do. Learn what they say learn. I was in a mess. And the only reason I was knew I was in a mess is because I listened to this scientist. He didn't look like me. I mean, he looked in color skin, but he didn't dress like me. He dressed like this and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, my point is, I got it. Something's wrong with me. And the science that he taught me is the science of self. How do you get yourself out of this mess? So that's why the first thing, I had to give up on, hey, I know it all. I'm the man. They put me up in, I'm in the church, so I'm on the Concerned Black Clergy. I'm preaching Sunday after Sunday. And did you know I stopped? Because I found out I'm the problem. I can't get back up and do that.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to acknowledge what you just said. And I just think one of the things that I think is important in terms of talking about black men, black women, culture in general, is spirituality. Because without that, we wouldn't be where we are now. And so I know that the first commandment, God said to love him with all our hearts, our mind, and our souls. But I think what we don't realize is he said the second commandment is just as important as the first, if not more. And he says to love your neighbor, but that ain't it. He says to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And that's where the problem is. We don't love God because we think we do, but until we love ourselves and get rid of this yoke that makes us feel that we are less than, because we sit on the corners and we buy what the white man tells us we are. The women buy what the white man tells them they are. And so we act accordingly to what this media tells us to, and we sit here saying, who are we? It is a discovery. We're just discovering that we can love ourselves, but until we love ourselves, we're not loving our neighbor and we're not loving him. And so I thank you for that. It does start home. How do we love ourselves? How do we get rid of that self-denial? How do we get rid of that insecurity?
Ooh.
I don't have the answer to that. If I did, I'd be a millionaire. I'd write a book.
I'm going to tell you where to start, and this is what I teach my children. I teach everybody when you're coming out of a bad relationship or whatever, when you're starting over, you start with self. You find out what it is that you like. What are my likes? What are my dislikes? Okay, what are my hobbies? Do you know how many folks don't know how to answer that question? What are your hobbies? Okay. Nobody knows how to answer that question. Start there, because now it's all about trying to understand what it is that I like about life. What is my connection to my source in life?
The question is a bigger question.
Go.
Who are you? If we can ask men, do you know who you are? We wake up in the morning and you look in that mirror. Are you proud of what you see?
Ooh.
I had to learn this myself as growing up. I know I had lower self-esteem growing up. I even went to class for it. self-esteem class.
Yes,
And
yes.
I remember it was a white woman, crazy. I used to think she was crazy. Crazy white woman taught this class. Was she? But it was always thinking outside the box. But when you do have low self-esteem, you're looking at everybody else thinking, "Well, I can't be like them. Well, I can't be like this. Well, I don't look like this." If you were born 5'8", you're gonna be 5'8". Stop trying to be 6'2", right? Understand that being the best 5'8" person that you can be, but also understanding who you are, what your likes, what your dislikes are. What are your boundaries? You know, what are you going to do? What are you not going to let people do to you? How are you going to act with people? How are you going to interact with you? I am, and anybody that knows me will tell you, when you deal with me, you get everything. And when I say that, I'm not holding anything back, but I'm giving you respect, and what you see is what you get. I don't have to go and hide. I'm not scared of you. I ain't gonna lie to you. There's no reason for me to lie to you. But that's because I understand who I am and I'm comfortable with who I am. If I tell you I believe this, that's what I believe. But it's based on my experiences. So,
And
exactly.
that doesn't mean that because I believe this today that it's not going to change.
Exactly.
Because one of the things that we as men have got to accept is that as we evolve and as we grow, as our experience dictate to us, sometimes the mindset is going to change. What you thought you believed yesterday, you may not believe it the exact same way today because somebody or something has changed and gave you a bigger perspective, a different perspective. Councilman Khan.
Hey. Yeah, I can tell you one thing. You know, the younger person I was is not the older person that you are. You know, discipline comes into play. A lot of us grew up without the fathers in the home. They might have been around, but, you know, that's always a factor for black men. You know, we suffer from a lot of the ills of society more acutely than just about any other demographic or any segment of the population. And too much of the time, we find ourselves at the bottom of certain rankings in terms of young men's reading test scores, things like this. You know, some of those things that we have to fight against constantly as black men. There are socioeconomic factors that kind of push black men into certain corners at times. But fighting against those things, you know, every morning that everybody wakes up, whether you're a black man, doesn't matter, woman, you're in some kind of a fight and some kind of a struggle. Everybody's struggling with something. It may be very subtle, it may be very major, but we're all in a struggle for fighting for who we want to be, where we want to be, how to get out of these habits, how to get into these new habits. So it's a tremendous puzzle piece. I mean, it's part of dealing with life. But as black men, I feel like we can no longer be consumed by our petty differences. Because we can no longer be consumed by our petty differences that we have as black men. Because at the end of the day, the powers that be, they look at myself, you, Demetrius, as a black guy. And they don't distinguish any differences per se, that we have particular differences why we won't work with each other. So I think unity and responsibility are a must nowadays. And in 2025, I think we all got to really work together and put our differences aside if we're going to continue to make progress. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Councilman.
Councilman.
Thank you, Councilman.
I have a question for the councilman. That's true.
It all is, you know. I cannot love you until I start loving me. And that's all about respect. If I respect you, you know, my philosophy is that you do unto others as you'd like them to do unto you. How can I give you love, you give me hate, or vice versa, you know? I treat people the way they treat me. And if they treat me bad, I'm going to treat them good because, you know, you know, that's the way I was brought up. Because my grandfather told me, his great-grandfather told me, man, when, you know, he said, boy, you're 15 years old, it's time for you to fix your face. You know, I didn't know what it meant. But you know, you know, and my grandfather, he was a traveler, you know. He helped build the Panama Canal. And so it's a lot of things like growing up in the Highland that people tell you then, you come to live, you try to see this. And that's why I say I'm not scared of anything. I don't mind making mistakes. I don't want to make them frequently because I've made a lot of mistakes in living here. I've been living in Atlanta for 49 years. I've been married for 49 years,
48.
And so we as a people have to start standing up and saying, look, we're only going to survive if we start doing business with each other. I mean, I'm saying you can, if you have 100%, at least leave 20% in our community because all right, I look at all these business places in our community. We really don't have a community. We have a hood. We have a neighborhood. We don't own nothing in our community. If all these people don't want to go to work, we can't even buy gas because I don't see no black gas station here. I don't see no black convenience store here. I don't see even a black grocery store. You know what I'm saying? We have nothing. So we're a group of, man, I see these people, they're the most educated. I've seen more doctors per square mile in this country than any other country I've ever been into. And yet we still work for somebody. We don't create a job for somebody. I'm trying to figure, look, why can't we create business for ourselves? Why can't we help each other? Until we start respecting ourselves, nobody will respect us. We have to start treating our young people, start showing them the way. Plant the seed. If you plant the seed now, and I blame a lot of the churches today, and the thing about, you say, I'm not a believer. I know God. I don't have to believe there's a God. I know there's a God. I don't have to believe that. Because if you don't know God, go outside and stop your breath. He created all of us. And so until we start standing up in ourselves and start, from the church. I mean, you look in our church, we have, like in Jamaica, we have a bar in every block, just like the churches next door to each other. And what are we doing as a church in our community? We have the worst community. Anywhere you go, I was in San Francisco, I would go down Martin Luther King, and I say it's the same thing in Atlanta. Nothing, you know what I'm saying?
You ain't gonna say one thing, but go ahead.
We are the most educated people. Not me. I mean, I see so much. I know so much doctor. I mean, and I'm trying to figure, what are you doing? You got your doctorate. You got your. I work for some doctors and stuff like that. The worst people I ever worked for. First, they don't want to pay you, and they, of course they have a few dollars more than you. They think, and you want. I don't know. But we have to wake up. We're asleep. We're very, a lot of educated people, but we're asleep. Let's wake up. Yeah.
There's just one thing, and there's the question now is around self-hatred. And if you really want to see self-hatred, then you figure out the newspapers every day. There's black on black crimes, black killing blacks. It's because we hate ourselves so much that when I point a gun at you, I see myself. I don't see you. I hate myself so much that I go around shooting other black people. I'm shooting myself. That is self-hatred. And so we have to understand it's the rage and we start in our own communities when things go right, we start a riot. We do it internally. So my point is that we hate ourselves so much. That is the problem. How do we get to loving ourselves so we can move forward? Because until we love ourselves, like you said, Joseph, I can't love you, no matter whether I'm gay or straight, doesn't matter.
Thank you.
We have to get rid of this rage that we carry and killing each other because we're looking in the mirror, killing ourselves. That's where that comes from.
Okay. Man, I want to step right into this right quick, if that's okay. It's fine. Because the question has to be answered. The question is, how do we solve the problem of not loving ourselves? how do we stop passing that on? And how do we know that we're loving ourselves enough? More, you got to ask this question. How do you know you loving yourself? And how do you know what love is? Okay. Those questions, because I was taught by that scientist, you need to know those answers. You need to know. And you know how he told me to know? He told me to go, and we mentioned today, how powerful we are here. You got it, because this connects up there and all around. So you got to go here. So I asked the question. I needed to know it. I needed to know it for myself. Now, if you need to know it for yourself, you can get it. I needed to know this. So I went here. Then I got here. So I want to show you what I got. And you can try this. This is part of the freedom formula, freedom solution. All right, so he told me, hey, man, you need to know who you love. And you need to know that. You need to know that you're loving yourself. How I'm begging him, how do I know? He said, no. Go to your mind. It'll tell you. Go to your mind. Ask yourself that question and keep asking until you get an answer. Okay, so this is what I got. You can do it yourself. But I want to tell you what I got for me that solved the problem. What I got is, who do you know that loved you? Who do you know that you can guarantee love you? Okay. So I went to my mind, who do I really know that I could put my finger on? Who I know that loved me? And my mother fed me. My mother, she birthed me. She didn't kill me in the womb. She nurtured me. Let me suck on those breasts. But she fed me. She told me, hey, go ahead and get a good education. She put clothes on me. She told me to do your best. Anybody else do that for you? Oh, okay. That's love. Okay. My mother didn't want me to go to jail. I caught myself stealing. I'm doing my thing. She didn't want me to go to jail. She didn't want me messing up my life. Okay. She didn't want me to smoke and drink. Okay. So anyway, hey, I got to do that for me. I got to stop that. I can't go in there and get locked up in the stores and stuff for stealing. I cannot, I can't hurt myself. Okay, my mother was concerned about what I ate. I just can't keep eating all this. I know it's hurting me. You got to stop it. That ain't love. Okay, so my mother had unconditional support for my growth and development. That's all she wanted. She wanted me to grow and develop. You know what? She used to call me, be a big boy. All right. I was her big boy. Okay. I did. Okay. But I'm an adult now. I can't be her big boy no more. No, I ain't going to be her big boy. I'm going to be, you know what I'm going to be? No, I ain't going to be no big man either. That. Who's the man? I saw those signs. I'm a man begging some people to treat me like a man. Okay, but anyway, let me get back to love. So I had to solve that problem too. Okay, so anyway, I decided, you know what? I need to love myself like my mother loved me. And then you know what? I can do the same thing to you, him, her. I can love, so I put unconditional support for their well-being, for their growth and development. The same way, unconditional support for her well-being, her growth and development. I love my grandchildren the same way. And I love Laverne. Unconditional support for her well-being, growth, and development. I can love you, Meech. I love you, Meech, for your unconditional support. I'm free. I can love everybody. I'm free to love.
Well, on that freedom, let me get this.
Let me tell you the good news. There's some more good news. Let me tell you more good news. So hold on, let me tell you.
He about to knock you in the head. Okay, all this love and freedom. Come on.
Okay. I think most of you said some good stuff here today, and I noticed that pretty much the age group that we're looking at, all of us kind of have been through a lot, and we all know pretty much how the community should run and how we should be working together. And the message that we're putting out, I think, should be going to a younger generation. And hopefully by the time we finish, the younger generation get a chance to see maybe if this is being filmed, what actually the information being put out, because there's some good stuff, some very good stuff. And what I would like to add to it is the fact that one of the things I've always done, I've actually been a business owner, and anybody who ever worked for me would work for me again because I treated them fairly. I treated them like they wanted to be treated. I treated them like I wanted them to treat me. I paid them well, so that way I knew that when they went home, they could take care of their families. Also, I've owned sports bars, I've owned clubs, owned trucking companies, and in exchange, everything came full circle. I say that because I understand being mistreated as an employee. I understood that. I'm an employee also. I'm a subcontractor for the federal government as well, and being mistreated, so I understand both sides of the atmosphere. Got mistreated by the Fulton County when I owned spots downtown in the underground, so I know what this brother here was saying earlier about being dealt with all kind of concepts. But I said it to say this. I learned one thing about dealing with being an employee or dealing with the government or dealing with anything when it comes to business. You have to be humble. You also have to understand you need to be honorable. And you got to learn how to deal with many different sides when it comes to people, because if you don't, not only you get run over, but you allow them to treat you any kind of way. So I say that because sometimes you have to be forceful with them, and sometimes you have to sit back and let them just act the fool, and so depending on the atmosphere that you're dealing with, you learn to adjust and adapt. And that's with any environment, with any atmosphere that you're going through. And this is one thing that us as grown men, we learned through life. The kids out here today, they are buck wild, regardless of where you go to. They're doing any and everything they want to do. I'm hoping that at least they understand that what we're trying to do is reach them before they get totally out of control. A lot of them, like you said, they robbing, stealing, and killing for no reason. They don't understand the consequences behind that is either jail or death. Most of them are not to the point where they can't be saved, or they can't survive what they're going through. But us as grown men, it's our job to hopefully bring them back to the right side of life, before it's too late, because that's somebody's son, that's somebody's daughter, that's somebody's grandchild, and where I come from, there's never too late for them to actually be saved. And so I just wanted to put that out there, and hopefully it'll help somebody before it's too late.
Go ahead, brother.
Absolutely. I wanted to piggyback on what Unc said about self-hate. It's actually, and why we kill each other, it's because we hate each other. But it's a little bit deeper than, and I agree with him, but just to add, it's actually, we love each other to death. And we lack emotional intelligence. I know, and that's different, different levels from the most intellectual person to the person on the street. It's emotional intelligence. You got people that can read 1,000 books, but they can't read a room. So when you have brothers that's killing each other in the street, that's actually love. Their feelings are hurt. Why you disrespect? You said it, bro. Street respect. But it's not the real respect. But you love somebody because you think you know what love is. So people are killing each other out of disrespect. So we just gotta apply that real love, that real emotional intelligence. But the thing is, it's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When you're so concerned with survival, food, clothing, and shelter, and generations before you of men, they were stressed out. Those little things a lot of times were missed. If your father spent so much time out of the home working, even if he was in the home, but just being a black man, he had to grind so much, a lot of those things were lost. A lot of times women were the disciplinarians in the home because the men were gone, even if they were in the home. So we just have to make sure, and somebody said it, the brother, so key, reverence. We have to revere each other. We lost the connection with our women because our women don't feel revered. So we have to revere each other. As black men, we got to revere each other because that's different than respect. Reverence, So I think that's really an important key to all of this. And as far as the young brothers are concerned, it's like they tired of words. Other cultures, other communities, they're not more spiritual than us. No one loves God. No one is more spiritual. I think we sold the market on religion and spirituality. Nobody got us beat on that. Nobody. But the thing is, other cultures, they pass things down to their young men, but for us, a lot of us have to start from scratch with every generation. So that's a resources thing. We have to pass down resources. Like the brother said, how many people have you employed? And if you're not necessarily employing people, how much resources are you giving? How much are we giving to the young generation to say, this is what we're passing on to you? Other cultures, they're passing on resources to the next generation. That'll make you listen when somebody, just like you said, the people coming in the community, the politicians, they coming in, they giving stuff. That's why they're getting what they're giving, because they're giving things. So we have to get the knowledge, and we got to get the resources for folks to understand that we're serious about what we're doing.
Amen on that one.
Hey,
All right.
Can I say
Go
something?
ahead. Go ahead.
I want to drop a nugget with you all before it's over with. And what I'm seeing here is if people understand like numerology, astrology, a lot of those things do matter when it comes to science. And when I just said, I spoke at a wedding the other day, and I was just sitting here thinking, speaking about love in our community. And anybody knows, like the number 8 is never ending. Okay, the letter O is never ending. And all that is a reciprocation of energy. So if we constantly stand and ask ourselves, are you a number 8 or I'm the letter O? Because either way it go, you have to be that in order to give that. And I said that other day and I said, if you in constant love for yourself, there's no way that none of your reactions, none of the things that you give to people, a stranger, whether it be a family member, can be harmful. It's going to always be helpful. So instead of, like you're saying, the churches, yes, they need to step up in these communities. But you know what? The church, and this is me, and I'm a minister. But I'll be the first to tell you, I know they took the bag under the table to be quiet. I know this. Me, I don't stand for that. I'm kind of the guy that bucked the system in my church. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, they say, hey, there's no Adam and what do they say, no Adam and Steve and all that. And I say, well, Meech is my best friend. Deal with it. Because at the end of the day, we're supposed to love you no matter what. And I'm gonna stand on that. But at the end of the day, ask yourself, when you get up in the morning, everybody know you don't have to be what they say religious.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can be spiritual. Because your relationship with a higher power is yours alone. It does not belong to a
Tell everybody
congregation.
else, say that.
So just ask yourself every morning, thank you, Most High. Am I number 8 or I'm the letter O? Whatever it is, let me go out so somebody can see either one of those in me so I can share it. That's the healing. That's where it starts.
All right. Listen, we can go on and on because I think we are now hitting it. You know, that food did us some good, huh? Got a little video up in us, child. We ready to go. This one I got free. Okay. Okay. But we want to come up out of here and we want to make sure that the overall goal for this, I want us to leave here constantly finding ways to answer this question. Are we producing the men we hate? Are we? We just gave a litany of things that we don't like, particularly with us about being black men. All right? And I want to stress this. So for those of you who are watching, okay, to all of those who are non-melanated, there's a number of things, honey, that makes us all universal. Because as I said at the top of this thing, being born male in this world is the hardest thing to walk. Why? Because we have a lot of unspoken rules. We have a lot of unspoken expectations that we're supposed to know ostentatiously. You know, I mean, through osmosis. Okay? We're just supposed to know it. Okay? And if my daddy didn't know it because my granddaddy didn't teach him and my granddaddy didn't teach it because my great-grandfather didn't teach him, how in the hell am I supposed to know what this is? You know? How many of us remember that cool cat that was in the neighborhood? Remember when we were kids? You had that one brother that was just so cool that everybody wanted to be like. And we tried to emulate him as best we could, and then we found out who he was. Okay. Okay, you understand? And then we had to find someone else to look up to because there was disappointment there or whatever, or there were character flaws that we didn't understand. You know what I mean? Well, that there, brothers, is what we had to, we got to go back to some of that individually. And then collectively, as a brotherhood, we need to be better examples. We need to be better examples. We got to get rid of the domestic violence. We can't sit up there and pat another brother on the back because he got his woman in check. Okay? And we can't continue to be silent knowing that he over there knocking her upside her head because he a strong, real man, whatever the hell a real man is. You understand? We have got to become accountable. And accountability means that I am willing to stand up and in everything that I do. If I've done wrong, I'm man enough to stand up and say, hey, I've done wrong. And I'm man enough to handle the consequences behind it. That's the big part. Handle the consequences behind it. Don't be scared of it. You was man enough to do it. Hey, what they say, you got to take the cost to be the boss. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. We got all these cute little sayings. Okay, but when are we going to stand in it and learn how to be a representative for those who are coming after us? We have allowed society to tell us to let our young men accept the fact that going to jail is a rite of passage to be a man these days. we have allowed that to where sagging your pants means something, to where we don't even let women tell the man in check she think it's cute. How about that? Okay. Did I just give examples? I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
No, look.
But I'm in this thing. this thing. Okay.
But look, we
close us out because I'm going to get too far.
So I'm gonna say a few words. I'm gonna say a few words, and I'm gonna turn it back over to Sister Tangi here. I want to thank my panelists, both panelists here. I want to thank y'all also because this was, we first started. Everybody was like, I don't know if I want to speak, but everybody didn't speak. Now, my family to come and took over the whole thing. You can't bring your family nowhere, bro.
No, we needed that. We need that
my uncle
energy.
said, you're gonna have to keep me in check because you know how I get. But I want to say that I appreciate it because what brightens my day is seeing black men smile. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I want to see more of that, and I want to give us more reason to do that because it's something that we don't see all the time. A lot of us going through stuff, and might not know this brother here. He may go through stuff, and I say, brother, what's going on? I want him to feel like, you know what, man, let's talk about it. Let's get this off my chest. You know, my thing I told Misha is I believe that I am my brother's keeper. My best friend will tell you that. He get on my nerves with stuff he do because I'm always telling him something, but I feel like that's my brother. I have to make sure he's kept because I took on that purpose saying that's my friend. So everybody that comes around me, that when you get close to me, I'm like the mafia. You don't get out. We family now. We family. Misha tell you if I don't have a problem, Misha, you gonna have to calm down. Misha tell you have a conversation. But it's because I take that personally. I take what I'm saying. I mean what I say. So I'm saying this to you all as the black men in this room. You know, we have to we listen to the words we're saying and we take those words seriously and we stand on everything we said. I'm gonna leave y'all with these quotes.
But before you do that, go ahead. I call her Dr. Ibimbola, Tangi Warrior. You don't know the power that she has. First of all, I wanted to acknowledge her and thank her because her gift to us, her presence, that feminine energy in this room, that power that she possessed, made this a great chance for us to unite.
Oh, she gonna close us out.
So I just want to make. I just want people to know the significance. Oh yeah. And want her to know, and want to thank her for it. I know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Ibimbola,
right,
Dr. Ibimbola.
I'm trying to close out
Dr.
now.
and Dr. Ibimbola.
So look, I'm gonna leave y'all with these quotes. One of them, I'm gonna give you about 3 quotes. I'm a quote guy, y'all. Ray, you gonna know this one. A refusal to grow when you have access to information makes you a problem. Ooh. That was our president, Yvette Cornell, said that. That was a great quote. Great men plant trees in which their shade they will never sit. We have to remember that things that we're doing is for the future.
It's for the future. That's
and
right.
It's not for
That's
us
right.
sometimes. We got to stop being selfish.
That's right.
Right now, like I'm bringing up Ray again, we are in a fight for reparations. We may not see it in our generation, but that don't mean we don't fight for it.
You don't fight for it, exactly.
So the last one I will leave, the propagandist's purpose is to make one set of people forget that certain other sets of people are human. Woo! And it's Aldous Huxley. So I'm just leaving y'all with those 3 quotes, and I appreciate y'all. I'm going to turn it over to my sister here. Huh? That last one? All right. Let's see. The propagandist's purpose is to make one set of people forget that certain other sets of people are human. If you don't get it, I'll come back and give it to you when it's over.
That's a T-shirt.
Yes, it is.
Let's turn it back over to Ms. Tangi.
Wow, this has been truly amazing, and it's been an honor to sit among you guys and hear this. And it softens my heart to hear you guys talk as Black men in our community to uplift our community. And it fills my heart, let me say that, to hear you guys come together. And we're gonna do more of these, and I'm happy to be in the room. I will say you guys have some homework to do. I wrote them down for you to,
That's why we need her in here.
because,
That feminine energy.
yes. So the homework is, and it's a big question to
Remember that.
answer.
Y'all, we gave y'all these notes. That's why we gave y'all these notebooks.
Oh yeah, your notepad.
Yeah, your notepad.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
your notepad. One of the major one I heard you guys say is, how do I love myself? I think that's something we all should focus on. It's important. And another one that's most important is, who are you? Not what people say you are, but who are you?
Yes.
Because that's what you want to send out into the world along with the love. And what are your boundaries? Know what your boundaries are. This has been truly, truly amazing. And thanks to my partners in crime, my board members for CPCA for putting this together, for the panel that came and spoke, Dr. Tashulo. And thank you guys for being here to have this dialogue. Let's do it again in first quarter. Hopefully we can bring somebody with you so we can continue the dialogue and make our community better. Thank you, and we can't appreciate you
Thank
enough.
y'all.
All right. Thank you all. Y'all have a wonderful Saturday.